Welcome to Lotus Lane Daily. I'm glad you're here. Today's wisdom is for anyone going through something hard. You know that feeling when you can sense a fight coming before a single word is said? They walk in the door, you read their face, and your whole body tenses. Or you say something completely ordinary, something about the dishes or the weekend or what time to leave, and somehow within 90 seconds you are both shouting and you cannot even remember how you got there. You are tired. Not the kind of tired sleep fixes. The kind that comes from living in a house where peace never lasts, and every conversation feels like it could turn into a war. If you searched for this in the middle of the night, you are probably wondering the same thing most people in this situation wonder. Is this normal, and can it be fixed? What is really happening when you argue about everything? Here is the first thing to understand. When a couple argues about everything, they are almost never actually arguing about everything. The dishes are not about the dishes. The lateness is not about the lateness. Underneath the endless small fights is usually one or two big unspoken things that never get said directly. It might be, I do not feel respected. I do not feel wanted. I feel like I do all the work. I feel like you do not see me anymore. I feel alone even though you are right here. Because those sentences are frightening to say out loud, they leak out sideways through every available crack. So you fight about the thermostat, when what one of you is really saying is, please notice me, and what the other is really saying is, please stop criticizing me. This is why winning individual arguments never makes things better. You can be completely right about who forgot to pay the bill and still feel just as lonely afterward, because the real thing was never on the table. The pattern that keeps you stuck. Most couples who fight constantly are not fighting because they are wrong for each other. They are fighting because they have fallen into a pattern, and the pattern runs on its own now, without either of them choosing it. It usually goes like this. One person raises something, often with a sharp edge because they have raised it before and nothing changed. The other person hears criticism and defends, or shuts down, or counterattacks. The first person feels unheard and pushes harder. Round and round. Each of you is reacting to the other reacting to you, and the original issue has long since vanished. You are not two enemies. You are two people trapped in the same machine, both pulling levers that make it worse. Noticing this is the first real step. The enemy is not your partner. The enemy is the pattern. Why listening is the thing that breaks the cycle. In a fight, almost nobody is listening. You are loading your next point while the other person talks. You are scanning their words for the part you can argue with. That is not conversation. There is a description of real dialogue from a collection of writings that names this exactly. Dialogue starts with listening. Truly listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak, but genuinely trying to understand another person's heart. That phrase, trying to understand another person's heart, is the whole thing. In your next disagreement, before you respond, try to say back what you think your partner actually feels underneath their words. Not what they said, what they feel. It sounds like you feel taken for granted. It sounds like you feel I am always criticizing you. You do not have to agree, you just have to show them you heard the heart of it. Most fights cannot survive one person actually being understood. The heat drains out of the room. Practical things that actually help. Call a timeout and mean it. When you are both flooded, your bodies are in alarm mode and no useful thinking is possible. Agree in advance on a word or signal that either of you can use to pause. The rule is that the person who calls the pause must also be the one to come back to the conversation within an hour or two. A pause is not avoidance. It is giving your nervous systems a chance to come down, so two reasonable adults can return instead of two frightened ones. Start the sentence with yourself, not with them. You always and you never guarantee a defense.